when Providence calls your name, you cannot afford to not pick up. And that's what I learned a year ago. A year ago, the circumstances were very dire, right? I had just took a massive pay cut at my job. I have moved away from the city that has raised me for 8 years of my life and had to say goodbye to a lot, and it hurt. But I realized that it was a decision that I needed to make in order to get to the next level, right? Get to a place where I felt comfortable underneath my own skin. And that was my ultimate resolve, right? I'm sure if anyone has ever been in an experience where you live for a long time not comfortable in your own skin every day, it just sucks, right? I'm sure you've known that if you've been there with me, right? And one of the things that I was just not satisfied with myself is my appearance, the way I carried myself, right? The respect that I could not command. That's what I was frustrated with. And so I figured that the first thing to do was to seek out help, right? So if you've watched my second video, I mentioned how when it came to my fitness journey, I sought out help. And this is just kind of that continuation of that video, right? Of diving into what went behind it and how that's led to the results today. And the things that were going on in my mind at that time, that had it been different, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So I want to get into that. So it was a September of 2024, and I was just heartbroken. Heartbroken from a previous relationship, heartbroken from having moved away from my city and having to start anew, right? It wasn't something on my bingo card for 2024, I could say that. But ultimately, I needed to prove to myself, and I needed to be there for that younger version of me who is counting on me to be at another level, right? And also my future self. And so I hit up my friend who is a professional bodybuilder, and he's a fitness coach. And I figured that if there was anyone that could help me become jacked, it'd be him. And so I reached out to him. I honestly didn't know if he was going to work with remote clients or anything like that, but he reached out to me, and I was so excited. My face just lit up when I saw that text. And we got a call going. And after the call, he said, all right, let's work together. And 12 months later, here we are. And of course, I'm not necessarily where I want to be right now. We're still working on it, but I've made progress that I'm pretty proud of, and progress that people can't deny, right? And I'm very happy about that, because there was one mindset trap that I almost fell into at that moment when I did decide to reach out to him. And that was, I wanted to wait till the next year, right? I wanted to wait till 2025 when things were better in some respects, right? I can get situated here. I could solve some financial stuff, maybe that I needed to get to. But my gut just told me, I need to start now. This is an emergency level situation. It's almost like I am at an ER, right? If you've ever been to the ER, you know how crazy it is, because you're not thinking about money. You're not thinking about tomorrow. You're not thinking about the next week. If you're in the ER, you're probably thinking, how am I going to live within the next hour, several hours, that thing, right? You realize that the life you have is precious, and that the life you have is worth fighting for, and that tomorrow is not guaranteed. And so that's how I treated the situation, and it clicked for me. And I decided, I'm not waiting till 2025. I'm going to start right now, end of September 2024. And it was the best decision I've ever made, really. And I could say that part of that was because I responded when Providence called my name, right? God had put all the chess pieces in place so that the one outcome that would come out of this is David's going to pick up that phone right then and there, and he's going to call his personal trainer. His personal trainer is going to work with him, and then 12 months later, here I am, right? And so that would be the short lesson for this video, right? Is understand that you are given signs on a daily basis as to what you need to do. So be humble enough that you're able to recognize that, but also very relentless, right? You're choosing your goals wisely. You're choosing how to spend your time wisely. You're counting your risks, right? But ultimately, if it's time to go, it's time to go. And there's no waiting, because remember, tomorrow is just not guaranteed. The next hour isn't even guaranteed. We take everything for granted, and we don't appreciate what we have until we don't have it anymore. And I'd hate for that to be you. I'd hate for that to be you 5 years from now, and you look back and maybe you've watched this video and you say, I didn't do anything. All the signs around me were ripe for me to do what it is that I needed to do, and I didn't do it. And I will never get those 5 years back. I wouldn't want that for my worst enemy, to be perfectly frank, because it's one of the worst realizations ever. In fact, that's where the whole midlife crisis thing comes from, doesn't it? So anyways, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you in the next one.